The Vengeance K70 is upon us, this time with all mechanical switches. And this one that we're looking at here, those are reds. They're only clicky if you smack the keyboard, like that. It's tough enough that I can do that. Now reds, before we even get into what the keyboard is, a lot of you guys are going to be like, well, what's a red switch like? Is that clickety or is it not clickety? A red switch is not clickety. It's linear and the actuation point is about halfway down. They're some of the softest switches that I've ever used. They're softer than blacks. You do not feel a click or anything like that. They're not like blues or greens where you feel a click when you're pressing them down. One of the nice things about them is they are extremely fast. So if you're like gaming and you want to double tap like an Unreal Tournament or something like that, you can double tap faster than just about anybody. The actuation point is halfway down and you do not have to return the key all the way back up to the, the top. You can just kind of keep it mashed a little bit with your hands and then just smack it down as fast as you can and it'll work just fine. Now this one also has an LED backlight with 3 different levels of luminosity. We have the, there's off. Does that count as a level? Off? Off?
Yeah, off is an option.
4 different levels of luminosity, one being no luminosity. So we have off and then 3 different brightness levels. Yeah, make it bright. This would be great for like gaming in the dark. Yes, it would. We have a nice handy dandy tool that allows us to easily remove the keys. And we have additional key caps for WASD and 1 through 6. And I like the way they're contoured. There's like a rubberized texture on top. And they're contoured, almost making a little bowl for your fingers. So you can always find your way back home if you're looking for WASD in the dark. And it feels really good. It almost reminds me of like using a Nostromo or something like that, one of those gaming peripherals that you see from different companies out there that plug in and they become like your WASD and your space button, your space bar. We have a 2 meter, nice thick tangle-free cable. It's this thick because we have 2 USB ports, and you'll see there's also an expansion USB on the back here, so you can plug up USB stuff. Now what I like about this is the second USB is used as a pass-through. So one's for the keyboard, one's for the pass-through. And another thing that I really love about this is there's a little, I guess a little icon or a logo of a keyboard on one, and then a logo of a pass-through on the other, so you know what the different USB plugs are doing when you plug them in. That makes me really happy because sometimes I just want to plug in one thing or the other thing and I don't want to plug both in, or sometimes I need to unplug them and I don't want to unplug the wrong one, and it can be like, oh, it's just 50-50 chance unplug. So that's really nice that they've done that. Beyond that, it's a really solid aluminum body, has a nice feel to it, sort of a brushed aluminum underneath everything, and the keys kind of hover off of that and the backlight lights up below it. I think it looks cool, but it's up to you. If you think it looks like pants, then fine, you can think whatever you want. It's aesthetics, and that's totally, up to you. We have it's actually a really nice volume control over here. We have our media keys, mute button, stop, back, pause, play, forward, media keys. There's a button right beside the LED button. If you hold this button down, it will start blinking. And then you can go and just press whatever buttons you like on the keyboard, and it will only light up those keys. Kind of cool if you wanted to like have only certain keys for certain games lit up. If you're playing an MMO or like an old game like System Shock, you may as well light up everything because you're going to need a lot of buttons. But this can be handy. I mean, if you're gaming and you want to dark out certain keys that you do not need, very easy to do. On the other side of the LED button, we have a lock button, and that locks your Windows key. So just press that down if you're playing a game, and you will not have to worry about the Windows key doing any mischief. The actual cherry red switches themselves are rated for 50 million operations per key. They're all, individually backlit like we've talked about before, and we have gold contacts on them all. So these are some quality parts here. Now also on this unit, you do see that there is a nice rubber wrist guard. This rubber wrist guard is easily removable, and it's a little different than the older ones that had the bolt or the screw on the bottom. This one just snaps on and snaps off without a bolt or a screw. I kind of like the bolt and the screw, but whatever, it's gone. It was nice because, well, this one's really sturdy. I've never had it pop off without me applying a little force or a little pressure. Also on the bottom we have 4 rubber feet to keep it on your desk, and we also, instead of normally you have like the 2 flip out feet on the top to angle the keyboard. If you want the entire keyboard to be raised, well, there's feet on the front and the back that flip up, so you can just kind of stand it up. It's pretty interesting. Also, beside the USB port and the cord, you'll see a few switches, and that's going to control your polling rate. And there's also something called BIOS mode, because a lot of times the newer UEFI or the newer BIOS sometimes they look at keyboards like this and they do not detect them. You have to plug up an old keyboard. If you ever had to do that before, where you have to like grab an old keyboard, that's really annoying. Well, with this one, if you have that issue with any new motherboards that come out, you could just throw it into BIOS mode, and that'll ensure compatibility so that you can do whatever you need. Then once you get back into Windows, just change it back to the polling rate that you want, and you're good to go. And normally I like PS2, and some USB keyboards out there do have a PS2 option where you can plug up a little PS2 adapter and then have that option to use PS2. And I like it for a few different reasons. But one of the biggest headaches is of course, the ghosting and in-key rollover, not being supported. This one does support 20-key in-key rollover, so that means you and a friend can both be on the computer at the same time, both mashing down with every finger.
Like one of those terrible, terrible episodes that you see on television these days where two people are like, let's work together on the computer, and they each take half the keyboard because that'll work.
Yeah, because they're hacking. And look, we've just broken into well, I can't say that on the air. We're going to have people kicking our door down soon. I've just broken into the local cupcakery.
Oh,
They had an easy firewall. Now, the Vengeance K70 comes in different flavors. You can get it with different backlights and also different finishes. There's an aluminum with blue, and then this one is the anodized gunmetal with red. So pick the one you like the best, and then you also pick the switches that you like the best. I'm so happy that this is in blue. In fact, if I had one of these in blue, I'd probably use it. Like, I would, yeah.
Model M or die.
Yeah, Model M. Green would be amazing. I'm not sure if we'll see a green anytime soon, but the point is that there's a lot of different options out there, so pick the switch you want and grab it. If you guys have questions, head over to the forum. There's a link on the screen. And subscribe. Yeah, you should do that. I would do that if I were you. See you next time. So that's nice. We have a 2mm long tangle-free cable.
2 millimeter.
That's a millimeter?
Yeah.
We have this tiny little cable. It's about this big. So you actually have to attach this, and it kind of hangs from your computer. It's a feature. It's for LAN parties.
Don't put it on the prompter. He reads whatever's on the prompter.
We have a... We have a 2mm long tangle-free cable.
So you did it again.
Damn it! I'm glad you're here, because I'd be editing this later going, what the fuck did I just say? Do what? Nose started itching out of nowhere. It's all that cocaine. I lived in Miami for a while.
Nose candy.
Sugar booger. Or booger sugar, I forget what they call it. All right.